Hey, 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 it's Smiley from Krybabys Tattoo Studio, and this has been a long time coming. Something that I have been tossing back in my mind, back and forth, trying to figure out how I could kind of open the doors to you guys getting to know us a little bit better. Just those vulnerable moments with artistic brain people that have a lot to talk about. So, this is just a kind of a sneak peek into what's going to happen. When I think about podcasts, I think about people having like specific things in mind. They sit and they have subject lines that they go through. And that's something that I don't want to do. I want to have an open, what I like to call Krybabys Confessional, where we just talk and communicate and get to know each other a little bit better. I have so many artists, and there's things that I don't even know about them because I don't get to spend the time with them. So I am going to start this, what I want to call session, with a little bit about me and just diving deep into who I am and kind of my life and what I've been doing and my journey. And um, hopefully it interests you. If it doesn't, it's just a way for me to journal the things that are going on in my life. So, anyways, if you don't know who I am, my name is Smiley. I go by Smiley Rose. I am the owner of Krybabys Tattoo Studio here in Oklahoma City. In my opinion, the best team out there, the best team in Oklahoma for sure. And I don't know, one of the coolest experiences and vibes that you'll ever walk into when it comes to a tattoo shop. I am a mother. I have two kiddos, Junior, who's 14, and taking me through it right now. And a daughter that is 12 who is just always been herself, sassy, crazy personality, just all the way out there. Married, and I've been married going on 3 years to my best friend. And um, you've probably seen him with me if you've ever watched my page or been anywhere on my social media. He's always with me. That's my best friend. And outside of that, I'm just a full on entrepreneur. So, I mean, a lot of my story is just, um, dealing with different types of childhood trauma growing up and finding my way out of it, finding out who I was and then learning how to embrace that person. I think that I probably just started getting my life together, to be honest, in my late 30s. I'm 39 now, so don't tell nobody. Uh, in my early late 30s, mid 30s, I finally was like, this isn't working for me anymore. I wanted so much more than to just show up at a job and clock in, clock out, go home, pay bills, and repeat the cycle over and over and over again. I have always been a very free spirited person, someone who just kind of like lives in their truth and is who they are. And um, although, like, looking back on it, I think some of it was attention driven just from, like I said, different childhood trauma and needing attention, whether that was positive or negative. It really helped me grow into the person that I am. And I think that my past was really just a lesson in how to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. Um, so yeah, that's a little bit about me. And like I said, I want to dive deep. Like, I don't want there to be things that I don't talk about. I don't want to feel like I'm harboring things. I am called Smiley for a reason. Like, I smile through everything, but there's background noise to all of that. So I wanted to tell you guys a little bit more about me and who I am and be vulnerable with what I go through on a day to day basis, what my journey has looked like on the way to owning three different tattoo studios in the city, and what my day to day life looks like, honestly. So I think one of the things that I really want to talk about, and something that I don't talk about much with myself, you may catch me every now and then, like, mentioning it, or if you are a client of mine, we've probably definitely had these conversations, but sometimes it doesn't always look like what you think it does. And although my name's Smiley, I'm always in a good mood. I try to communicate well. I really harp on like interpersonal connection and getting to know my clients and my artists. One of the things that I really struggle with is anxiety. And I have pretty much my whole life. I didn't know what that looked like when I was younger. I think that as a child, I was making impulsive decisions and, hanging with the wrong crowd and getting myself tied up in all this different shit. And in reality, it was a lot of different mental health issues that were going on that maybe my mom wasn't educated on, which of course caused a lack of education for myself. And so I never really got the help. About 5 years ago, I finally went to the doctor and I was like, look, something is not right. I have an obsessive mind. It never stops turning, which in the business world is a positive thing, but in relationships and friendships and family, it's a horrible thing. You worry way too much, you overthink everything, you're scared, you're fearful, you never want to do anything, you never want to take risks on yourself because you're constantly thinking of what's going to happen next, like what is the negative out of this. So it stopped me from a lot, and I finally was like, I think this is something else. I don't think this is just your average thought process for a human. So I went to this amazing doctor here in the city, and he's just a primary care physician, but man, he really listened to me and heard me. He gave me the opportunity to tell him kind of like what I was dealing with, what I was fighting, and he was like, "Yeah, I think you got some different things going on." So that was when I first realized that I was dealing with anxiety and depression. It may not have been like transparent, but it was underlying. And I think that's the first time that I just really was like, okay, I've got to do something about this. Um, for 2 more years after that, I didn't medicate. He would prescribe me something and I would never take it because I felt like it did nothing. um they say it takes 4 weeks to get into your system and to start seeing a difference. Well, I literally didn't even take it for a week, and I was like, this is not an automatic fix, this isn't doing shit for me, I don't want to keep taking this. And so I would just stop. But about 3 years ago, when I got married and I started to see the effects that my anxiety and my depression was having on my marriage, I chose to get the help that I needed. I think people think that it's like some sort of like dark thing you don't talk about, but there are so many people out there that deal with it, and some of them don't deal with it. I went my whole life not dealing with it. And over the past 3 years, I have gotten to a better mental space, um, a better business place, being a better mother. I mean, like it's just affected so many parts of my life, from understanding and accepting that it was just part of who I was and my makeup. Um, I remember when we first got married, I would overthink everything. Oh my God. And we'll get into my marriage. I'll talk to you guys about that because it's a crazy story too. But when he first came home and I hadn't really physically been in a relationship, like a live-in relationship, in 5 years, I I was just, I don't know, I think I went into shock. Like, "Oh my god, there's someone here, there's someone that I'm gonna have to share a bed with, a home with, learn to live with." And I think the pressure of just all the change really piqued my anxiety. So there were nights where, and it was always nights, we'd be laying in bed and I literally would just go into pure panic mode. I mean, like crawl up like a baby in the middle of the bed, shaking, crying. Um, and it was really great to have a partner who understood. I'm not gonna say understood. He'd never experienced anxiety, but I'll say he helped me through that storm. He was always there to make sure that I was okay. Um, he'd wake up in the middle of the night with me when I was having my hard nights, and I realized in those moments, like, if I want to be the best version of myself, if I want to be a better wife, a better friend, a better mother, if I want to be a better boss, just all aspects of my life, I'm going to have to figure out a way to get these things under control. And so I started back on my medication journey. For 3 years, I have woken up every morning and taken the same pills and went to bed at night and taken the same pills. And I honestly believe in that chemical imbalance. I believe that that is a real thing, and that if you are struggling in any form, fashion, if your mentality isn't happy, if you're going through hard times, like go get the help. Um, I don't think that it's something that I'm ever going to be off of, to be honest. I just have seen what a huge difference it made in my own life, and what a difference it's made in the people's lives around me because I've been able to be at my best version. That being said, I don't put up with bullshit anymore. I don't let people walk all over me anymore. That's part of me being healthy, is realizing that everybody's not always right. Like, I don't want to be a people pleaser and someone that pacifies every situation. So it's given me power, it's given me a voice. And yeah, it's just been really cool. So, anyways, if you deal with anxiety or any of things of that nature, that is something that I love to talk about and I'm very open about. I wasn't always, but I've just, like I said, kind of learned to live in my truth and who I am. I think when you go through a lot of things in your life and a lot of, um, I don't know, neglect, um, feeling unworthy, feeling unloved, those things all have long term effects on you. It's like PTSD, like those things live in you. Those seeds have been planted and you have to dig your way out of that. You have to find your way out of that.